The First Voyage Around the World by Magellan, Antonio Pigafetta. The First Voyage Around the World by Magellan. This book was taken from the chronicles of contemporary voyager and navigator of the 16th century. Pigafetta's work instantly became a classic that prominent literary men in the West like William Shakespeare's Michael de Montaigne, Giambattista Vico referred to the book in their interpretations of the New World. Antonio Pigafetta. Background of the author. Born sometime in the closing year of the 15th century. Parents Giovanni Pigafetta and Angela Gioga. Eldest child among his two siblings was native of Vicenza, a town about 100 kilometers west of Venice, Italy. Studied astronomy, geography, and cartography. Served on board the ships of Knights of Rhodes at the beginning of the 16th century. Accompanied Ferdinand Magellan together with Juan Sebastian Elcano in the famous expeditions to Malaccan, which began in August 1519 and ended in September 1522. First Voyage Around the World by Antonio Pigafetta was written on board one of the 5 ships that was first circumnavigated and world during the expedition that was led by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan, and after his death during the voyage by Juan Sebastian Elcano, the expedition started in 1519 and ended in Spain in 1522. Pigafetta's travelogue is one of the most important primary sources in the study of the pre-colonial Philippines. His account was also a major reference to the events leading to Magellan's arrival in the Philippines, his encounter with local leaders, his death and hands of Lapu-Lapu forces in the Battle of Mactan, and in the departures of what was left of Magellan fleet from the island. Examining and documents reveal several insights not just in the character of the Philippines during the pre-colonial period, but also on how the fresh eyes of the Europeans regard a deeply unfamiliar, retained environment, people, and culture of history need to realize that primary sources use the subsequent written histories depart from certain perspectives. Pigafetta's account was also written from the perspective of Pigafetta himself and was a product of the context of its productions. The first voyage around the world by Magellan was published after Pigafetta returned to Italy. For this chapter, we will focus on the chronicles of Antonio Pigafetta as he wrote his first-hand observation and general impressions of the part as including their experiences in the Visayas and Pigafetta's account their fleet reached what he called the Ladrones Island or the Island of Thieves. These people have no arms but use sticks, which have fishbone at the end. They are poor, ingenious, and great thieves, and for the sake of that, we call these 3 islands the Ladrones Islands. Ladrones Island is the presently known as the Marianas Island. These islands are located southeast of Japan, west southwest of Hawaii, north of New Guinea, and east of the Philippines. It went to Humunu Island, Humunhon, and there they found what Pigafetta referred to as the watering place of God signs. It is in this place where Pigafetta wrote that they found the first signs of gold in the island. They named the island with the nearby islands as the archipelago of Saint Lazarus. Here he met two kings. The first king was Raya Salgu, and the other king was Raya Kalambu, king of Zuluan, and Calagan, Botoan, and Caragao. One day Magellan ordered the chaplain to preside a mass by the shores. The two kings heard of this plan and sent two dead pigs and attended the mass. When the offertory of the mass came, the two kings went to kiss the cross like us, but they offered nothing. And at the elevations of the body of our Lord, they were kneeling like us and adore our Lord with joined hands. After the mass, Magellan ordered that the cross be brought with nails and crown in place. The king concurred and allowed for the cross to be planted. This mass would go down in history as the first mass in the Philippines, and the cross would be the famed Magellan's cross still preserved at the present-day Cebu City. The king and all his people answered that they would obey the commands of the captain and do all that he told them. The captain took the king by the hand and they walked about the scaffolding. And when he was baptized, he said that he would a principal man from the island of Mactan by the name of Zola went to see Magellan and asked him to fight the chief named Lapu-Lapu. Magellan agreed the express to go to Mactan himself to fight the seeds of ships. We reached land, we found the islander 1500s in number. Drawn up in three squadrons, they came down upon us with terrible shoots. Two squadrons attacked us on the flanks, and the third in front. The captain then divided his men into bounds. Our musketeer and crossbow men fired for half an hour from a distance. Outnumbered 49 to 1,500, Magellan dead at the battle. Pigafetta recounted the last moments of Magellan, whilst the Indians were thus overpower him several times. He turned around toward us to see if we were all in safety, as though his obstinate fight had no other object than opportunity for the retreat of his men. Analysis of Pigafetta's Chronicles. Analysis of Pigafetta's Chronicles. The Chronicle of Pigafetta was one of the most cited documents by historians who wish to study the pre-colonial Philippines. Moreover, being the earliest detailed documentation, it was believed that Pigafetta's writings accounts for the forces pre-colonial society. Reading Pigafetta's descriptions of the people, one has to keep in mind that he was coming from a 16th century European perspective. It should be understood that Shah's observations were wrote from the context of Pigafetta of his era. Voyage Around the World by Magellan Antonio Pigafetta.